Yep.
And where did you buy yours?
In Hocking Hills, Ohio. So that southwest
Yeah.
corner where
Oh,
all like the hills are, right? So it doesn't not your typical Ohio, got the caves, the hiking, all that stuff. So
yeah. And I remember we talked about it a little bit, but like, I guess you don't have that many months yet to know how well it's doing, or do you feel like it's going to do pretty good this year?
I mean, so right now I'm currently adding amenities, right? So I ran out of nice weather last year. I couldn't pour concrete, so I'm doing that right now. I'm still renting on the weekends, and then I have it blocked during the week for the workers. And I'm adding 2 shipping containers, welding them together, and it's going to be half game room, half movie theater. And then I'm putting a
Sweet.
sauna and an outdoor shower. Like nobody's got shipping containers out there. I'll be the first one. So kind of
Yeah.
trying to set myself apart, but it's still doing pretty well. I mean, I'm in that like weird limbo. I just talking to some guys about this today. I'm in that weird limbo right now where I can't charge that premium yet because I don't have all that done. But
Yeah.
like I don't want to give it away because people in like August are going to get this stuff for free, right? So it's an interesting way to price right now. But I mean, July, I just ran July's numbers and my bookings. I'm 50% booked for July, and I'm like just over 15 grand. So
Really? Okay.
yeah, so I'm pretty happy. I mean, it's paying for itself, right? It's not costing me money. So
Yeah. Sweet.
yeah.
That's a good idea on the shipping container thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a cool way to like add more square footage, um, creatively. Now, I don't know how, like, if you were to get like an appraisal refinance on it, how an appraiser would look at it, but I mean,
Yeah, it's not like, it's not connected to the house. It's probably gonna be more viewed of like a garage, right? I'm sure in their eyes,
yeah,
but, you
some
know,
sort of ADU situation.
yeah. But I mean, it's a 4-season room. It's drywalled, insulated, heating and cooling, so I mean,
That's awesome, man. Well,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw Tim jump on too. Hey, Tim. I think Olga was on a second ago too. Um, Tim, can you hear us? Maybe, maybe not. Well, hey, well, I'd say, yeah, these are just AMAs. So, there's no specific agenda other than whatever questions y'all have. We can go over anything and look at the tech, any questions, whatever. So, Scott, do you have anything do you want to go over?
I do actually. So I have a
Okay.
property that I'm looking at that I ran through all of your tech, right? And
Okay.
it doesn't your tech's telling me it's not great, right? But I think
Okay.
it's like I think there's opportunity there because it's unique that it's got a pool. So I don't know, maybe do you want me to give
Yeah.
you the address?
You want me to pull it up real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Let me reset my. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me reset my filters. Okay. What's the address?
It is 721 Lower Star Creek Road, and that's Morganton, so Morganton, Georgia.
Is this like Blue Ridge area?
Yeah, it is. It's literally right next to Blue Ridge. So,
Yeah.
the score is terrible and maybe it's not a good buy, but it's got a pool, which like not many have there. And
Yeah.
I can easily make it 5 bedrooms. It's got a really cool outdoor space. Um,
Yeah.
so I just
Would you
wanted
make
your
it 5
opinion on it.
bedrooms by doing the garage conversion on it?
Yeah, so the thought was I talked to contractors already. The garage is big enough. We could do half the garage or part of the garage is a theater and the other part is like a bunk room. So that would be the
Yeah.
fifth bedroom.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, I'll tell you this real quick before we really dive in. Leslie, can you still hear us? Are you there, by the way?
Yep.
So Leslie had a conversation with some of our other friends that were looking at the tech, and they're like, "Why is the score showing zero? Like, I think it could be way bigger." Blah blah blah. And here's kind of the whole point of it, which we need to figure out a better way to like either train people up on this or just show it differently. Um, I actually bought a deal last year that set a zero score. And the question is, why the heck would you do that, Matt? Well, here's why. I see a property, and if I underwrite it based on the average revenue percentile, like it is a zero, like it's just not a good deal. But we know every property has a range of opportunity. And so it's, how can you get it up to this range? Well, as soon as you get it up here, this is where the numbers start to kind of turn green. And so it's like, okay, well, is it possible to get up there or even go past that by, adding an extra bedroom? or a game room, you know, because if you were to do that, then your comps aren't a 4-bedroom comp anymore. You're doing a 5-bedroom comp, which now you might get up to this $1,000 range, and maybe you're up in this like 20%
And
cap rate.
I found comps that frankly didn't have a pool and they were doing like 160, 170.
Yeah,
So, but only a
perfect.
couple, like three, right? So,
Yeah. So yeah, what I would say is like knee jerk reaction. You know, these scores are only based on average revenue, and so you know, I think I've told y'all this before. Like the reason we do that is because we don't want to like lead people astray, but for the savvy and sophisticated, y'all can take it a little step further and say, hey, I know how to get this sucker up to like 160 grand. Let me go look at my comps and let's go adjust this. So let's just do this in practice together. And who knows, maybe it's actually a really good deal to go look at. So um okay, cool. So let's go look at the comp set real fast. And oops. So the comp set, let's see what it's pulling up. Golly, sorry, it keeps popping out of here. There it goes. Okay. So it's a 4-bedroom right now. Let's look at it as a 4-bedroom and then we can evaluate as a 5 here in a minute. So it's showing 89 comps out of that. So yeah, it's showing if you were to keep it a 4-bedroom, that's where that 50th percentile revenue is coming in,
yep.
knowing it could probably get up into this like 120 range. So yeah, let's go see it as a 5-bedroom. Okay, cool. So now a 5-bedroom showing, yeah, 130 to 177 is like the max situation. Um, Now you were thinking you might could get up to 160 potentially?
Yeah, I actually found, I don't know, maybe my area was a little larger,
Here, I'm gonna
because
go out to like 10-mile radius and see how that pulls in. Okay, yeah. Now if you go out to like a 10-mile radius, there's more comps, and this is showing
yeah.
somewhere up in this range.
So that's where I thought I could play in that area just because, and also like the amenities, it's not populating there, but like the pool, it showed like 80 grand increase in revenue, right? Just for a pool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's showing
because
it's
nobody
like a
has them.
normal driver. Oops. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, it's showing a massive revenue driver on the pool. Um,
And yeah, if you clicked on one of those real high performers, right?
yeah. Shows a pool at like 280. And now this is the top comp. So like, you know, be careful when you see like the very top comp or the very low, because those could be outliers. But you never know. Like Mike Olifante's, you know, one of his properties shows like $530,000 in revenue, and it's like spot on. So
Uh,
it's a possibility.
I
But
was
you want to see
underwriting at like 175.
you were doing 175.
Just
Yeah.
conservative. I thought that was a realistic number based on the comps.
Yeah, and the good thing is I like to see a trend of revenue. So like I'm noticing multiple properties above 200 and multiple in this 170. And you're right, most of these have a pool as like the number
Mhm.
one differentiator. So I definitely think it's a possibility. So if we go, let's just do this real quick. If it's a 5-bedroom only, we're seeing like 170 at that 90th. If it's a 4-bedroom, we're seeing 140 at the 90th. And if we do a combination, you're like 150. And so let's just say, let's just underwrite based on this 170, knowing there's possibility to get up here, maybe in
Mhm.
between, but just see what that looks like. Have you run that exercise yet?
I did on not on using yours though. I did it old school on my Excel sheet, so I'm curious what yours comes
Okay,
out
so
at.
all you do here is now that we saw what the comps look like, golly, it keeps popping out. Sorry about that. Now we saw what the comps look like. Let's just go back and do, I think it was like 1,000 a night maybe, and let's do like 50% occupancy. Yeah, this gets us up to like 180-ish, and we could go adjust this down a little bit. But
Mhm.
in order to get there, I mean, the bones of it are pretty nice. How much are you thinking about spending on capital?
I was gonna do a rehab budget of 200 grand because I was gonna redo everything and convert the garage, put a pickleball court in outside. Um,
Yeah, I
so
agree. Yeah, I think 200 is a good budget for that. Yeah, because usually garage conversions are like 40 grand.
Yeah.
at least for a garage conversion. And then expenses, are you managing on your own?
Yeah.
Okay, and then insurance might go up a little bit. I've just noticed insurance be a little bit low. Any other costs you want to factor in? Maybe like pool cost?
Yeah. Put something in there. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and then would you do 20% down,
Yeah, 20%.
7% interest rate?
Yeah, that's probably okay for now.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, looking at this is showing a 17% cash on cash, 5
And
grand a
you have
month
that at 850. It's a purchase price at 850, right?
at 850. Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
didn't. Yeah, okay.
what we could do, I should have just stayed in the analyst. So yeah, say you go down to like 825. What do you think you could buy it for?
I think 800. It's been for sale for a long time.
Okay. Let's see, 800. And let's go back to the 1,000 and then maybe 50% to go back to that 180-ish range. And then let's say 100 grand. Oops, sorry, I'm not going to go off of this again, so we can keep making just some tweaks. And then let's do this back up to 6,000, and then let's do 3 grand for reserves, and then I think everything else. So yeah, you're looking at basically a 19% cash on cash return if you got to that purchase price and everything we're talking about.
Mhm.
But let's just say, again, some of these comps that we looked at earlier, I mean, you might could get up to 200 potentially, or even higher. So let's just see what that looks like if you were to do it, and get up to like 1,200 nightly rate, get up to like 218. I mean, you're talking about almost a 30% cash on cash return. So to me, I mean, yeah, initially it was showing a red negative, but that was, if you were at like 60 grand in revenue. And
Mhm.
so it's, I've never been to this market. The comps are definitely showing that that's a possibility, but realistically, this is probably where it's going to land, which, that's still a 19% cash on cash. I mean, not a bad deal.
No, that's pretty healthy. Now, does your tech look at after rehab value at all?
No, but we're looking at adding that in to the tech itself. So we're starting with like just a strong foundation, and then we're going to start to add features to this. So if you think of ideas like that, add it to the founding member community, because I can see where you're going, where you're like, sweet, okay, I'm going to add this in. Here's my return. But now what is my after rehab value, and how much can I pull out, cash out refi? And then
Yeah.
what does that look like?
Yeah, because it's for an investor. So I'm thinking if I can pull that out, how quick can I pay him back? Right. And then we're off to the
And just keep
races.
doing
So
it again. Yeah, and
yeah.
then there's also the tax play too, which do you guys have access to that tax calculator?
I have access to a tax calculator. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but
Okay, sorry, my mouse here is acting all weird. I can't like click on my stuff here. Leslie, do you have that tax calculator, by the way?
Yes, hang on, I'll drop it in the chat.
For some reason, oh, there it goes. Here it goes. Let's see if this works. Here it is. Can y'all see this here?
yeah.
So say you bought this for 800, and then you put in 200 capital, and then say average tax bracket, 32%, you're saving about 130,000 in taxes. And so this is another way that you could just present it to your investor and be like, hey, if you invest 300 grand or whatever that number is, immediately you could get back, depending on how you split the cash flow, a pretty good
Hmm.
return. And this is something we're thinking about adding into the technology eventually. This is just like a standalone kind of free calculator right now.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, that'd be great if, at some point that would all be like in the report to show, and then the ARV too. That would be sweet. But either way,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I appreciate you going through it. You kind of
Battery
confirmed my
60%.
thoughts. So
Cool. Now, Leslie, did you add that to the
Something went
chat?
wrong.
Yep, it's in the chat.
Cool. Yeah. So everyone, make sure you click on that
Connected to
link
MacBook Pro.
and save it, because that's a really cool calculator that you can use for yourself or capital partners too. And then, oh hey, Scott, just one more
Yeah.
thing. Did you ever see, so like say you've got this full report here, and then you could even call this like realistic scenario. Have you seen our OMs that we've built as well?
No.
So yeah, basically at the end of the report, it'll spit out like a very professional offering memorandum with all the details of the property itself, like the location, pictures, and then the investment summary. And so this is something that you guys, as you're finding these properties, you can put together like an instant report and then just start like firing these off to investors by just, saving it or, clicking the link, and you can even click the link and send it to anyone too.
Perfect. That's
So
awesome.
these are really fun to use. Um, well, cool. Well, Scott, let us know if you end up buying that, man.
I will. Thank you.
I would definitely. Do you have a good local agent there?
I do. I got to realize it's one of Oliver's. That I
Okay.
work with in the
Yeah,
boardroom.
just make sure,
Mhm.
Strike will help you get there fast, but like make sure you talk to a good local person to like verify it too.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else have other thoughts, questions? Any deals you want to go over?
Hey, Tim here.
Hey, Tim.
Uh, I don't have a deal, but I do have a question because
Well, Matt, I know
I've
you like
not yet been,
Fredericksburg. Anything good in that way?
I've not been able to get on the
Oh, here,
comp
just one
side of
second,
things. They
Brian.
won't let me log in.
Okay, Tim, you're not able to get logged in.
That's
Jeez,
correct.
I can't hear.
Okay. Hey, Leslie, can you check out Tim's
Yep.
information? Okay. So while we're going through this, Tim, Leslie will check out your email, make sure that you've got the right. Yeah, well, actually, on the chat, can you put in your email that you're wanting to use, and we can make sure that's applied to a certain membership.
Leslie's got it. I've talked to her.
Yeah, I've got both of them. We had them switch it over before.
Okay.
So
I get it
yeah.
on one side, on the app side, but not the comp side. So
Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure you get access today on that. There's just probably something weird going on with the
Sure.
authentication of it. Now, Brian, did you say you had a question? Oh, Brian, you might be on mute.
Can't hear him.
you might have to allow school to access the microphone. I had to do that.
Oh, really?
Am I here?
There he is.
Nope. Okay. I know you like Fredericksburg. Anything good in that way?
Man, I'm building some fun stuff in Fredericksburg right now. I'm kind of doing what Scott's doing there, because the situation in Fredericksburg, and honestly, this is kind of the same in like almost any market. I'm just gonna go zoom in here. Now, the cool thing about Fredericksburg is it's the wine country of Texas, right? But when you look at it, there's a lot of like red, right? So it's like, ooh, that didn't look too good. But what's cool about it is, you're outside of Austin, San Antonio, and so you have like this whole hill country area where it's the wedding capital of the US or of Texas. I don't know if it's a Texas or US, but it's a big wedding area. You've got these major markets that like Michael talks about that are feeders to these like regional kind of cool destination vacation spots. But the problem is if you underwrite these properties based on average revenue, like almost every single one of them are red. Like it's really hard to find good deals that are just like average. So like this is where we have to apply our knowledge of like you have to get to that like 75th percentile at least or the 90th for it to work. And the only way to do that is you've got to put in professional design, photos, unique amenities. So you've got to be willing to spend the capital to do it. And I've personally
Well, I think-
experienced not putting in capital and seeing the results of that. So
Well, I see.
yeah,
I think everybody in this group knows to put the money in and the amenities.
yeah.
So if we're on that track, how do you adjust and modify your analysis?
So one thing and Michael and I are talking quite a bit about this too, because we look at things differently, which is good. But there's some good things we can learn from each other. I love to look at deals based on cash on cash return, where like he likes to look at things based on like revenue to purchase price ratio. And so what he, he probably teaches you guys this in the academy as well. Usually want to try to find deals that are like 15% revenue to purchase price ratio or higher. Closer to 20 is better because that shows that there's probably opportunity. And so when you look at Fredericksburg, I mean, there's just not a whole lot there unless you're able to get to that like upper tier. And so like here's one that is kind of interesting, but it's unique. It's like an 8-bedroom in Fredericksburg. That's this compound that's showing some interesting revenue potential. That one could be interesting to kind of dive into a little bit more. That I know is a short-term rental. This one's kind of interesting out there to where it's a 6-bedroom, $899, and there's some land to play on here. I think it's 2. I've looked at this one before. Yeah, you got this. I think there's like 2 properties on here with some land, but when you look at it, it's very, very basic. And so if we go look at the comps of that thing, let's just go see what the comps show on it. So this is a 6-bedroom, 3-bath. Let's just see what that shows.
Oh, so you've adjusted that. Before you couldn't have exactly 6. You would be 5 and 6.
For
I don't know. Yeah, min bed, max bath, they could never be the same number, right?
I think it's
couldn't get
depending on like if you would have had. I think it depends on which one you show first on the minimum. So make sure that you've got
Okay.
the minimum first there. Oops, my
Okay.
computer's about to die. Let me plug it in real quick while we're talking. But yeah, this
Okay,
one,
as long as there's a way to do it.
yeah. Let me plug this in real quick. So this one's showing kind of interesting. I've got a 7-bedroom property that we just bought in Fredericksburg, and it was making about 108,000 on average, or kind of closer to that mid-scale that you're seeing right there. But it was not walking distance to Maine, which walking distance to Maine is like a big driver there location-wise. Okay, let me plug this in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to refine the comp set here. And I'm going to go a little bit closer to where I'm at, like a 1-mile radius. And I'm going to expand this to like a 5 to 7 bedroom. Okay, so there's not even any there. Let me go to 4 to 8. Okay, let me zoom it out a little bit. Okay, so yeah, it's showing based on this range here, these comps that are not on Maine, this is kind of what you could expect. And so let's just go back to what we're seeing here. So these numbers are a little bit skewed because you see the numbers, the comps that are being pulled in from Main Street. So you've got to be aware of that market, that some comps could skew it. Like beach properties, as an example, could be skewed a little bit more because of the beachfront. So that's why you want to keep coming back to this comps dashboard and adjust your radius to make sure that you're pulling in the right comps. But this still shows, pretty interesting upside if you were to get up to that upper tier. So like this one, as an example, you might could get up to this 166 range right here. But when you look at the pictures, it's pretty basic. So you probably need to add in, I don't know, at least 50 grand or 75 for furniture, maybe 75 for renovation. And so even doing that, this gets it up to like a 14%. So there's some interesting deals there. You just have to kind of look a little bit further. My latest deal I just bought was basically right out here by the airport. And I'll just take you through an example of like how I found that. So like what I did is I did like estimated revenue of like 75 or 100 grand or more. And then I did minimum cash on cash return of like 1 or 5% or more. But I'm going to just take that away and just do cash flow up. And we'll just show, let's just do this, see what pops up. Okay. So instantly, you know, every property goes away except for those 2 properties. So long story short, Fredericksburg is honestly a pretty tough market to find good deals, you know, candidly. But my favorite deals in Fredericksburg are the ones that have land so that you can build pickleball courts. You can build, you know, you can do what Scott's doing, maybe do like some, what are they called, Scott?
ADU.
The shipping containers.
The shipping containers that you could put together. You could do tiny homes, but you know, Fredericksburg in general is just a very tough market unless you do some crazy cool amenities or go to like really big type properties. So, Brian, I don't know if that helped at all or not. But I mean, this one in general, like that one is kind of showing some interesting opportunity that you may want to check into. By the way, have y'all seen this property in Dripping Springs? This one I keep looking at and I think is really interesting. I mean, it's a 9-bedroom with a pool, probably opportunity to add pickleball somewhere. Looks like there's a little ADU thing over there. I don't know. For some reason, this one looks real interesting and has, you know, pretty interesting revenue potential to it. And I think it already has historical revenue that they show. So this is brought in $877,000. I can't remember what the timeline was over that, but anyway, someone should go look at this thing if you've got the cash, because it's a huge property with a pool in Dripping Springs, Texas, where Michael just bought his mega property, and looks interesting to me.
Cool.
Any other? Hey, Brian, did you see Oregon came in?
It's coming in. I see it. I was looking
Yeah,
at 11 acres and sticking stuff in.
Yeah, so I actually found an interesting deal for you out there. Was it this one? Did you see this one yet?
Nope.
So this one, I did my filters on it, and I think I did like 5% or higher cash on cash, and then I did the revenue to purchase price ratio. I don't know anything about this area. Are you familiar with this outside of Florence and Eugene?
It's pretty deep forest in that area. Yeah.
Really? Okay. So I don't know much about this, but this one seems interesting because it's right on the
On a
water
river. Yeah, nice.
and looks like it has decent bones. And it's got this other, like, I think ADU and garage to it too that could be converted.
Sure.
But again, it's on the water, which looks pretty nice, with like a dock. So I don't know, something you may want to just look into. I've never been to Oregon, but it's just something that popped up on my radar.
All right. Thanks.
Cool. Anybody else?
Hey, Matt, I had one.
Yeah. Hey, Doug.
You know, after the boardroom, you know, I got this. Randomly started looking at like the
My
Coachella
son just came
area.
in 1 second. Buddy.
Yeah, no
Buddy,
problem.
love you. Let me take him out to mommy real quick and say hi to my friends. I love you, buddy. Okay, love you. Okay, sorry about that. What were you saying?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I was saying I was randomly started looking at saw this property in like Coachella, like around
Yeah, Indio.
Palmdale, yeah, all that area. Just because it was like a nice golf region, as well as had a bunch of like festivals and stuff that
Yeah.
also events.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see if you could look at that and run some numbers on that with me and either
Yeah.
see what you thought. It's
Yeah. What's the
yeah,
address on
the address is 48482 Red Mountain Place in Coachella.
it? Okay.
Zip code's 92236 if you need that.
Is this it right here?
Hold on, let me see. I got pulled off of your screen. Yeah. So
Yeah,
what
I'm
was
assuming.
interesting about this area was that it's so heavy in like a golf culture around there, but I didn't see like any with like simulators and stuff in them of the comps. And it had a
Okay.
pretty cool pool. It's like walking distance to those festivals too. I think they're at like the the polo grounds or something right there.
Yeah. And it's got a little putting green out there too. Now, do you know, I know there's some stricter restriction or there's more tight restrictions on STRs kind of around that area. Do you
Yeah, so I think
know
Coachella and Indio are the two towns that allow it. I
what
think
do you find? Okay.
I kind of
Cool.
looked into it. I'm just on like very very 3,000 feet here. I haven't really honed in too much, but I looked a little bit at that just to make sure it was possible. It looks like it is an STR now. It's definitely it has this garage where I mean they're not at full potential here at all.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, it is it. Yeah, an STR. Cool. And no HOA. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-car garage.
It has a
Cool.
pretty cool pool with like this like sunken barbecue swim up bar thing, and
Yeah.
um, it's been
I
on the
think
market for a little bit.
I mean, honestly, like whoever did this, has a cool backyard, but like didn't do any cool design or any of
Right.
that stuff inside. So there's definitely potential for sure. Um, but yeah, the bones look pretty good. So yeah, let's just look at it together. Would you convert the garage into like another bedroom, or are you thinking just
No, I was thinking more like golf sim. Like I said, like a lot of the comps in that area, I didn't really see anything that really played to that. And
yeah, let's look at it together. So yeah, this is a 6-bedroom, 3-bath. So the ratio, this is kind of the lowest ratio you'd want on that many bedrooms. So I agree, probably not converting is a good idea because the moment you get below 50%, you know, baths to beds is
mhm.
just it's kind of tough on it.
Yeah, it also had, I think the restrictions were you could have two guests per bedrooms plus two people. So I thought
Really, okay,
14 seemed like it was good.
cool. So let's look at this. So 14. Okay, so 6-bedroom. Have you looked at the comps dashboard on it?
Not through this program.
Okay, but did you do it through AirDNA?
Yeah, the
It's
bad one.
you can still say it, it's fine. Um, we can still be friendly with them for a little while. Okay, so let's
I
do
also just kind of wanted to see how you would work it through on here.
yeah, and it's honestly good to compare, like, what they're showing versus us so that, if the numbers are close, then it's like, "Okay, cool, there's good
Right.
confidence." But sometimes there's some, differences. So what I did, there's a 3-mile radius around this, which we could tighten that up if we want to, but, there's 83 comps out of, like, 2,000 that meet that criteria. And I mean, this is showing pretty dang strong opportunity.
Yeah.
So let's go back to this. This is showing 150, 230, 316. This
Right.
is showing 150, 206. I mean, it's validating what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
So I usually like to underwrite based on like the 75th percentile, knowing, there's opportunity maybe to get up here, but you've got a smaller backyard. You might not be able to do pickleball, all that stuff, but you might could do the game room. So I think this is probably more realistic, maybe somewhere in here. So let's go back to here and just say 200 is where you're going to be. Actually, maybe 235. I don't know, maybe 235. What do you feel better with based on what you're seeing?
Yeah, my mid was at 200. I mean, I was just using
Yeah.
like a rough, like a number.
Yeah, I think so. Let's just say 208 in this range here. Or let's say 40% occupancy. Okay, cool. That's closer to 200. And then what are you thinking, like 200 grand in capital for this?
Yeah, I think we definitely would have to like have a conversion, like some sort of mini split in the garage, golf sim, which could be about, and then plus all the, yeah, I was thinking about maybe like 250, 200, 250 with furniture.
Let's do 250 just to be safe. Okay, so this is showing, would you manage it on your own?
Yeah.
Okay, and then insurance with the pool probably go up a little bit, and then no HOA, and then probably, pool maintenance and all that stuff. Any other expenses that you see here that we need to add?
Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you, this could be under expenses, was they had like a 14% tax for the on the revenues. Is that baked into what you're
Oh, like
pulling
the
in?
hotel occupancy taxes?
Yeah, which seemed a little bit higher than normal.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Each county is a little different. Um, what would the number be on that? If it's 14%, let's see what the math would be on that. So like Fredericksburg, it's 7% hotel occupancy taxes. Where like Austin is like 11% hotel occupancy taxes. So I don't know for sure what the HOT is here, but if it's 14%, yeah, you may want to factor that in since that's pretty high.
Yeah, it's like just shy of 30,000 on 200.
Okay, so it'd be 30,000, or maybe let's just say 29. Okay, so yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of the killer. I mean, it still
Yeah.
looks like an interesting deal for sure, but net, when you take into fact that that definitely hinders it a little bit. Could you buy this thing with like 10% down, maybe?
Yeah, I was gonna try to do 10%.
Okay, because that definitely helps the cash on cash. And then 7% interest rate, or would you go a little bit lower?
I haven't really. I don't know what they're at right now, so that seems safe.
Yeah. I mean, so
Hey,
based on
Matt,
this,
while you're on this screen, when you're doing
yeah.
this, is there a way to do like zero closing costs?
Yeah, you could do, let's see here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see it there. Never mind. I didn't see the
Yep.
field. Yep.
Yeah, so it
All right.
populates here and you could go adjust that if you need to, either a dollar amount or percentage on it.
Yep. I missed it.
Perfect. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm seeing your mid case scenario is still almost a 15% cash on cash on this thing. So
Right.
now let's just go back to the comps dashboard and say, okay, well, let's just say you get up to 250 scenario, maybe.
Mhm.
And let's just see what the amenities are to get up there. Okay, pets allowed, interesting enough, is kind of a big one. Let's just go to 5 to 7 bedrooms and see what that shows. A gym is also potentially a factor you might want to think about, but I
Yeah.
guess that's where like the golf sim and all that stuff come into play.
Right.
And the revenue, yeah, so 250 seems reasonable. Let's do real revenue and show highest
So
to
Matt,
low.
why is the pool negative?
It's probably because that means basically everybody has a pool. So there's not a huge revenue uplift on it because most comps have a pool, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, the negative, we should probably just do neutral or zero, because it's not like it's going to have a negative effect if you have a pool. It's just more, it's not going to have a positive effect because probably everyone has one.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't if that was the case, like wouldn't you have to have a pool to compete though? So there'd be like some like almost like you need the pool.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Yeah, you would definitely need a pool if that's, showing that for sure. Sorry, we had like smoke alarms going off. 1 second. I think, let me make sure everything's good in the kitchen here. 1 second.
The joys of working from home, right?
Scott, I heard container, or sorry, yeah, containers, container houses, container pools. What's your experience?
Neither. So I have a cabin. I have a cabin
Oh, I
in
can't hear you.
Ohio, and I'm adding 2 shipping containers, or I'm taking 2 shipping containers, cutting out the middle and welding them together.
Scott can't hear you.
No, why? That's
I can hear
Oh, no,
you.
I can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
I
it's
can
me.
hear you.
Can you hear me now, Brian, or no?
Brian, can you hear us?
I don't think so.
I think you lost.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, try and log in again.
Yeah, I just saw that. Thank you. I'll give it a try.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Sorry, did you want to finish the shipping container thing real quick?
Well, Brian was asking me. He can't hear, so I'll send
Oh.
him a chat. So
Okay. Perfect. Well, okay. Sorry about that. My kids, I think, apparently set off the smoke alarm. But we're back now. So yeah. So what I'm looking at here, when I'm looking at all these comps, let me just adjust it back to 6 bedrooms real fast. Yeah, I mean, basically all of these have a pool and, really unique stuff. So, who was asking about this? Was this Doug? Yeah,
Yeah, that
Doug.
was me.
So yeah,
Mhm.
what you would want to do is just say, okay, since this is your target of where you're wanting to go, just start going through all these comps and just see like what unique stuff they have. Like this one has like a slide into the pool. It looks like this one might even have like, okay, here's like the game room thing that
Mhm.
you're talking about. This one does have like pickleball court. So that's the one
Yeah.
bummer about your property. It's the backyard's real small. So you've got to be able to do like a discount associated with that. But if you can pack in all these other amenities like these people are doing, you've got the putting greens, you can do something like this. The only thing you don't have is like the pickleball.
Yeah.
So let's just come back to this and say this is showing 204. Let's just say you get up to like 50% occupancy based on that. So you get up to 255. Now you're showing like a 29% cash on cash return if you can get there.
Right.
So what I would do is, first of all, this is telling me this is a really interesting opportunity. So you
Mhm.
found a good one. Now what I would do is, talk to a professional design company, like a Summerled or a Funkit Interiors or one of them, and get their opinion on it too, or like the
Mhm.
local agent, and see where you can go from there.
Yeah. This was just one that the first one, right when I right when I signed up, I was just looking around random places and I was like, man,
And it just revealed it, baby.
I know.
So, but what I do is I'll just save this summary and I'll put Doug on there. So now what you could do is just take that link right there and just copy that and send it to a local agent or these designers and just say, hey, here's a cool property I found that is showing really interesting potential if I can get up here. Like, first of all, do y'all think I can hit this? Second of all, what do y'all think are the key amenities that I need to get there? Like, I've got a pool, I've got, this, I want to do a game room, any other interesting stuff that I can do to get there, and how much is that going to cost just to
Right.
validate your capital?
Okay.
So, well, sweet. Well, that's a good find.
All right. Well, yeah, you didn't talk me off of it.
I think, hey, that's the point of strike, though. We want to make it easy, baby.
I know.
Cool.
Thank you.
Any other questions you want to go through? So I've got an idea for y'all. If you're either looking to buy on your own or um, even just trying to raise money to, capital partners. So there's a couple of tricks you can use. So like Brian was looking specifically like at Fredericksburg. That one again would show like a bunch of red properties. So you're gonna like have to go individually kind of see how you can convert them into these like yellow and greens by looking at the comp set. But there are some markets where it's like super easy to find them. And so what I would do again is I would probably start with like $1,000 a monthly cash flow, like minimum of 5% cash on cash return, probably minimum of 75,000 or 100,000 in revenue, depending on, how much cash you have to deploy. Again, this is like average revenue, knowing you can get way better than average. And then probably like a 15% revenue to purchase price ratio. And if you know, like you for sure want a pool or have to have a pool, you could put that in there as a feature and then even do like minimum bedrooms and all that stuff and a maximum price range if you can't go above a certain price and just see what pops up. And there's, deals all over the place that will instantly just pop up for you guys. So Doug, there's a couple of other ones here that, like that one as an example kind of looks interesting that I'm looking
Mhm.
at. And then all you do is you take that same filter and just like zoom out to a whole region. And there's, these places in Joshua Tree that are popping up now. They kind of look interesting. And then y'all could go save those and just start zooming out to areas that you like or are interested in. Let me just look out right here. So like Arizona, like there's a bunch of them that are popping up here. And again, all based on that buy box that we just filtered in. So I'm literally finding deals like instantly that are kind of interesting. So Brian, if you and Jeremy are trying to find these, like that's what I would do if I were y'all, is like put in those buy boxes like I'm showing y'all and just kind of see what yellow and green properties are popping up based on that and just start kind of zooming into these different hubs across the country and see if there's anything interesting that, surfaces.
Matt, do y'all have like South Louisiana, like Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans?
We don't have, let's see here, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. We don't have the MLS for that yet. So what I would say is if you can get the Zillow link and send it in that founding member community,
Okay.
I just have to get that MLS and go sign an agreement with them. And we have to, they charge us like $250 a month to go get it. So I usually wait for, a client to go ask for it.
Yeah.
So if you want to just add it to the chat, we can go get that one.
Okay. Thank you.
But I mean, look, there's deals in, Panama City Beach. This one I've looked at a bunch with a couple of people. This one's interesting in Panama City Beach with basically a garage that could be converted here and on here. It's a duplex with a swimming pool with incredible views. Probably would take like 300 grand of capital to get it, up and going. But I mean, that's a pretty sweet property in Panama City Beach. That's like close to the beach there. So there's a bunch of these deals out there. It's just, do you have the capital to go do it, or can you bring in the capital partner to make it happen? Capital is a big piece of it all.
Yeah, that one is interesting.
Any other markets y'all want to check out or properties?
Matt, can you just go through those parameters again? How you set it up? Why you set it up that way?
Yes. So the parameters that I'm looking at, estimated monthly cash flow, like most of y'all are trying to get some sort of cash flow out of these properties. So that's just kind of a good default to look at. And then cash on cash return, since we're underwriting based on average revenue, this is just a good filter to kind of filter out just all the bad stuff or like mobile homes and just random properties out there that just probably aren't good. There are some negative properties that we even looked at earlier that could be converted into a positive, but it just takes a little bit more creativity. But I like to do at least 1 or 5% minimum cash on cash return, up to 100. And then estimated revenue, I like to do around 75,000 or more. Because if you look back at the comps dashboard, if a property can make 70 grand as like a 50th percentile, usually you can get that thing up to like 100 to 120 or 150 if you go higher. So that's kind of a good just thing to be aware of. And then revenue to purchase price ratio, I like to do 15% here oftentimes, but you could go down to 10 if you know that you could do creative things to get it higher. But that's a good starting place just to like start looking around. And then, list price based on whatever budget you've got for down payment and capital. Bedroom count kind of doesn't matter that much if the property, is performing.
Sure.
So, you could
Yeah.
put in whatever. And then oftentimes, when we look at amenities here on the comps dashboard, usually pool has a huge positive factor to it. So, if I were you guys, I'd probably try to start looking at properties with pools if you can, as just a default. And then you could always filter off, because you don't have to have a pool in every market, but in many markets, pools are huge factors. And it's also one of your biggest expenses too. So if you can at least have one with some bones, it helps for sure. So that's kind of what I do. But,
Okay, cool. Thanks.
I change it up a lot, kind of depending on the market I'm in. It just takes some good practice on it. Cool. Any other questions, thoughts? I think we have just a few more minutes here. I'll show you all one example real quick that I'm doing. I bought this property. It's not going to be in Strike anymore. 18 Upper Live Oak. So I bought this property here in Fredericksburg, and it's a 7-bedroom with a barn. And what was interesting about it is in Strike and Zillow, it showed up as a 4-bedroom. And what was interesting is like I dove in deeper and I was like, that looks way bigger than a 4-bedroom. And in fact, it's a 4-bedroom with a office that could be converted to another bedroom, plus an ADU with 2 bedrooms, plus a barn on 6 acres. And so one thing to be aware of is like when you're looking for these properties in Strike and on Zillow, when brokers type in the information, they oftentimes type in information for the main dwelling. So a lot of these properties that you see, if you put in like a filter for, if you put a filter in for a minimum bedroom range, be careful with that because, like on where'd the Zillow? There it is. This one is actually a 7-bedroom property that was kind of hiding under the guise of a 4-bedroom. So, if I would have known if this would have only been 4 bedrooms, I would have never bought it. But because I discovered it's actually a 7-bedroom property, I went to my comps dashboard and saw what the potential was for a 7-bedroom versus a 4. And the revenue uplift was like enormous. So just be aware as you're looking for these properties, sometimes they are actually lower bedroom count than what they actually are, especially if there's multiple units on that property. So that's something just to be aware of, that I'm seeing a lot of like arbitrage opportunities for those. And so what we're doing is we're building like a big pickleball court, basketball court, putting green, play set for the kids. We're doing like string lights off the barn. We're doing a wedding venue, like corporate event space, a speakeasy, game room up here, like a get ready room for the girls. We're working with Summerled to do like better design inside the houses. And then this is going to be like a wedding space for like people to come out and just have weddings out on the lawn. And you can charge probably at least $5,000 per event or more. So that's another kind of interesting revenue stream beyond the Airbnb thing is some of these like events like that for like 30 to 50 type people, but usually have to have, larger acreage. So like Brian, the deal up in North Carolina that you were looking at with acreage, that could be an interesting way to get revenue uplift is having these weddings or kind of smaller events out there.
Yeah, that's kind of the intention on that one as well.
Yep. Well, cool. I think we're right at time. Anything else before we jump off?
Thanks for your time.
Yes,
Cool.
thank you.
Thanks for the show.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Leslie, we'll have office hours on Friday and then we'll be back again Monday. So feel free to jump on either of those calls.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
See ya.
Thank y'all. Bye.
Bye.